Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
What followed was like a wild dream come true. Their soft sighs and sensual touches consumed me, making me feel like the center of their universe. Each woman's unique allure drove me wild, and I found myself rising to meet their passionate demands as we all surrendered to waves of pleasure. As my initial hesitation melted away, I took charge of the situation. Jenny, who typically maintained an air of sophisticated grace, transformed before my eyes. Her model-like beauty enhanced by pure ecstasy as she threw her head back in the throes of passion. These women, who I'd only ever seen in their motherly roles, had become utterly enchanting seductresses. My name is Marcus, and I'm a 38-year-old sales professional living in the suburbs with my wife Natalie, 34, and our first-grade son Mason. We've been married for 8 wonderful years, maintaining a stable and comfortable lifestyle. While I focus on my career, Natalie has been dedicated to managing our home, though she's been planning to explore part-time work opportunities once Mason gets a bit older. Life has fallen into a predictable rhythm. I come home from work to Mason's enthusiastic welcome and Natalie's home-cooked dinner waiting on the table. While our marriage has been solid overall, I have to admit that our intimate life took a hit after Mason was born. Though we're both relatively young and neither of us complains openly, we've both felt the loss of that physical connection. Weekends that could be our time together are usually consumed by parenting duties, and we often fall back on the convenient excuse of being too tired. I frequently catch myself reminiscing about the passionate early days of our marriage, but reality always seems to get in the way. Little did I know that one particular night would completely shake up our routine existence. Natalie became a mom in her mid-20s and has thrown herself into the role of full-time mom ever since. Even now in her 30s, she turns heads with her youthful appearance and fitness level. Most people can hardly believe she's a mother. Her naturally slim figure makes her the subject of admiration among other moms in our social circle. The friendships she formed with other moms during Mason's kindergarten days have only grown stronger since he started elementary school. These days, they regularly get together for brunches at each other's homes, often sharing a bottle of wine while catching up. I've always been supportive of these friendships, knowing how important they are for Natalie's social life. Plus, these gatherings serve practical purposes too, from coordinating playdates to sharing parenting tips. What I hadn't realized was that some of these seemingly ordinary suburban moms had quite the wild side. When I worked late, they would gather at someone's house and party well into the night. My innocent assumption that these were just casual mom get-togethers couldn't have been further from the truth. The opportunity for things to get interesting arose when Mason was scheduled for a 3-day outdoor education camp with his school. It was one of those typical American elementary school experiences: hiking, campfires, and nature activities. Mason could barely contain his excitement as he waved goodbye, shouting, "See you soon, Mom and Dad." We smiled and called back, "Have fun, buddy." This meant Natalie and I would have the house to ourselves for 3 whole days. I had hoped to spend some quality time with her, but work was particularly hectic that week with overtime and client meetings filling my calendar. When Natalie suggested hosting a wine night with her mom friends, I didn't think much of it. They had initially planned to go out, but decided staying in would be more relaxed. I casually agreed, saying, "Sure, sounds good." The morning Mason left for camp, I helped him get ready and headed to work. When Natalie mentioned having friends over for dinner, I asked if my late return would be an issue. She just smiled and said, "Don't worry about it. We'll just be hanging out. Come home whenever." I wished her a good time and left for the office. Work ran later than expected, and I couldn't leave until after 9 p.m. During the day, Natalie had texted, "The girls are here. We're having drinks. Give us a heads up before you come through the living room." I replied that I'd stop by to say hello and picked up some snacks and beer on my way home, arriving around 10 p.m. Walking in, I heard laughter echoing from the living room. I called out, "Hey, I'm home," and was greeted by a chorus of "Welcome back." and raised glasses. Still in my work suit, I said, "Don't mind me, just passing through," while taking in the scene. Four of Natalie's closest mom friends were there: Lisa, Jenny, Kate, and Allison. I'd met them all before at various gatherings, but never in such an intimate, late-night setting. The coffee table was covered with an impressive array of bottles. They had quite the spread: wine, whiskey, beer, and various other drinks. Everyone was clearly feeling pretty buzzed, including Natalie, whose cheeks were flushed as she laughed at something. I couldn't help but smirk and comment, "Looks like you ladies are having fun," to which they responded with tipsy confidence, "Hey, the kids are away. We're making the most of it." I excused myself to take a shower, telling them to carry on with their fun. They were all in great spirits, and I didn't want to cramp their style. It seemed perfectly natural for them to blow off some steam while the kids were away. Everyone needs a break sometimes, especially full-time moms. Despite their increasing intoxication, I wanted to respect their girls' night. In the bathroom, I stripped off my work clothes and stepped into the shower, letting the cool water wash away the day's stress. After drying off, feeling refreshed, I could hear the women's laughter floating in from the living room. I thought to myself, it's good that Natalie can unwind with her friends, and close my eyes to relax. That's when I heard something unusual near the bathroom door. At first, I dismissed it, but after turning off the shower to listen more carefully, I definitely heard whispering and giggling. Growing concerned at hearing multiple female voices, I secured a towel around my waist and cautiously approached the door. Something felt off, and as I got closer, I sensed someone peering through the crack. When I muttered, "What the?" I noticed several shadows and heard suppressed laughter. I quickly adjusted my towel and yanked the door open, only to find all four mom friends huddled together, watching me. "Hey, what's going on?" I demanded, trying to sound stern, but mostly just embarrassed. They burst into giggles, playfully exclaiming, "Busted," and backing away. To my shock, Natalie was right there with them, looking amused. "Sorry, we got curious since you were taking forever." They all chimed in, giggling. Then Lisa boldly declared, "Wow, he's more impressive than I imagined." Jenny, Kate, and Allison eagerly agreed. "No kidding. What a surprise." My face burning red, I protested, "Come on, stop it," mixing embarrassment with annoyance, but they just laughed it off, saying, "Loosen up, we're all married here." Just as I was about to protest that things were getting out of hand, Natalie meekly said, "Sorry, everyone's had a bit too much to drink." I was stunned by how uninhibited these women had become. It was like seeing a completely different side of them. Maybe it was the rare taste of freedom while the kids were away at camp, but even Natalie, typically so reserved, seemed like a different person tonight. As I tried to make my escape from the bathroom, desperately clutching my towel while pleading, "Come on, stop," someone suddenly let out a playful shriek and yanked at my towel. I yelped in surprise and fought to keep hold of the slipping fabric, but their mischievous determination won out. Despite my protests of, "Hey, stop," the mom friends waved the towel triumphantly in the air, laughing, "Got it." There I stood, completely exposed and mortified from head to toe. They were giggling like teenagers, playing keep away with the towel, while I futilely tried to get it back. What really threw me was how Natalie half-heartedly said, "All right, ladies, that's enough," without making any real effort to intervene. When I begged, "Please give it back," they just found it more amusing, teasing, "Ah, look how bashful he is." After what felt like an eternity, but was probably only 30 seconds, I finally retrieved the towel, my heart pounding at the realization they'd seen everything. I'd never felt so utterly embarrassed in my life. The wild scene with the four mom friends continued, and while Natalie made a half-hearted attempt with "Sorry, they're just tipsy," she clearly had no intention of putting a stop to things. Instead, she shot me a flirtatious smile and teased, "What do you ladies think? Not bad, right?" I was at a total loss for how to handle this situation. Usually I would have been angry right away, but strangely, that reaction just wouldn't come. Each of the mom friends had their own distinct appeal. Lisa turned heads with her fit figure and vivacious personality, while Jenny exuded sophistication and natural grace. Kate kept the energy high with her bubbly, outgoing nature, and even the typically reserved Allison was showing an unexpectedly daring side. The alcohol had brought them all together around me, creating an electric vibe that would have been unthinkable under normal circumstances. I never would have guessed these women I only knew from casual weekend brunches had such bold sides to them. Natalie wasn't usually one to get swept up in her friends' wild antics. Was it just the wine talking tonight? Or was there some kind of group dynamic at play? It seemed like these normally composed, responsible women had gotten caught up in the moment, feeding off each other's energy. What started as one person's playful impulse had spread through the group like wildfire, bringing out sides of everyone I'd never seen before. Led, or more accurately pulled, by them, I found myself in the living room, barely decent in my hastily recovered towel. Though my face was burning, it was too late to hide from their appreciative gazes. They gathered around me and insisted I drink, pressing whiskey glasses to my lips with encouragement to loosen up and enjoy the night. Before I knew it, I downed several glasses of whiskey, feeling the effects more strongly as the ice melted. They kept my glass full, giving me no chance to decline. Lisa topped me off again with a "Come on, Marcus, have some fun with us," while Jenny smiled and added, "Yeah, nights like this don't come around often." As the evening progressed, Allison began giving me a shoulder massage, smiling gently as she asked, "How's that feel, Marcus? Let me know if you're tense," while Kate whispered in my ear, "You've still got such youthful energy. Makes me want to live a little more freely too," keeping her body near mine. I questioned whether I should allow this situation to continue, but the living room was already charged with an electric atmosphere, made even more intense by the fact that Natalie was watching everything unfold from nearby. Though alarm bells were going off in my head about where this might be heading, my body was already responding to their attention. If Natalie had objected, I would have put a stop to it immediately, but instead she just smiled softly and said, "Everyone's just having fun," making no move to intervene. Was it the alcohol talking, or was she deliberately letting this play out? I couldn't read her true intentions. When someone remarked, "Natalie, isn't this exciting? You've got quite a catch here. And your husband is really something special," Natalie just gave a mysterious smile and replied, "Take good care of him." I was taken aback by Natalie's attitude. It was like she was giving them permission. Even more surprising was how much she seemed to be enjoying it. Most wives would be jealous, but her expression showed intrigue rather than anger. Maybe she'd been craving some excitement too? Was she getting a thrill from watching other women desire me? Natalie would catch my eye occasionally with a coy smile, and I sensed not jealousy, but something else in her gaze, like she wanted to share in this forbidden moment. "You doing okay, Marcus?" Natalie asked softly, but her voice carried an undercurrent of anticipation. Feeling conflicted, I could only murmur, "Natalie," as she gave me a subtle nod and smile. The mom friends watched our wordless exchange and giggled playfully. Ooh, secret married couple communication. Lost for words and caught up in the moment. I found myself surrounded by four attractive women showing me very focused attention. Never in my life had I experienced anything like this, being the center of beautiful women's affections in a quiet suburban home late at night. Kate began sensually running her hands over my shoulders and chest, making me shiver at her gentle touch. Maybe it was the whiskey hitting me too fast, but my usual self-control was slipping, and I was responding instinctively to their touches. When Kate's bold hands wandered toward my waist, I weakly protested, "Wait," which just made everyone giggle and tease, "My, he's actually shy." I blushed deeply at their reaction. As Kate grew bolder, wrapping her arms around me in a way that went well beyond innocent play, Lisa, Jenny, and Allison started joining in one by one. When Natalie exclaimed, "Oh my, what's happening?" her voice held more excitement than concern. Dizzy from the whiskey, I found myself surrendering to Kate's advances. The atmosphere grew increasingly electric as one by one, the women joined in. Though my rational mind screamed, "This isn't right," I couldn't help myself at this point. I anxiously sought out Natalie's reaction. To my amazement, rather than anger, Her flushed cheeks and intense gaze suggested she was captivated by the scene unfolding before her. When Allison began caressing my body, I shot another quick glance at my wife, finding her still watching intently, her face flushed with what seemed like excitement. Could Natalie actually be enjoying this? The thought raced through my mind as Allison grew bolder with her touches. Lisa guided my hand to her curves with gentle determination, and despite my spinning head, I couldn't deny the thrill coursing through me in this surreal moment. What followed was like a wild dream come true. Their soft sighs and sensual touches consumed me, making me feel like the center of their universe. Each woman's unique allure drove me wild, and I found myself rising to meet their passionate demands as we all surrendered to waves of pleasure. As my initial hesitation melted away, I took charge of the situation. Jenny, who typically maintained an air of sophisticated grace, transformed before my eyes. Her model-like beauty enhanced by pure ecstasy as she threw her head back in the throes of passion. These women, who I'd only ever seen in their motherly roles, had become utterly enchanting seductresses. Though a nagging voice worried about the neighbors discovering our indiscretion, I was too caught up in the moment to care. After our passionate encounter, I ducked into the shower to wash away the evidence of our shared pleasure. Returning to the living room, I found them sprawled contentedly across the sofa and floor, thoroughly satisfied. Dawn broke with hurried whispers as the mom friends rushed to leave, suddenly remembering their domestic duties. Oh God, we need to get home and make breakfast. Natalie, still drowsy, saw them off with a casual, "Heading out already? See you soon," while I managed a quiet goodbye. They departed with playful grins, calling back, "Sorry about last night. That was amazing. Catch you later." The night felt like a dream, wild and unbelievable. Natalie only offered a knowing smile and muttered, "Well, that was something else." Too exhausted to cook, we settled for refrigerated bagels, stealing awkward glances at each other. Though we both felt we should discuss what happened, the experience seemed too surreal for words. With Mason still away at camp, we fell back into our routine, though a palpable tension lingered in the air. Days later, I finally mustered the courage to broach the subject. "What was that all about? Why didn't you stop it?" I asked carefully. Natalie responded with a hint of vulnerability. "I never expected it to go that far, but everyone seemed into it, including you." When I admitted, I was confused and honestly embarrassed. She gave me a slight smile and confessed, "I'm sorry, but seeing you like that made me look at you differently." This might sound weird. It was clear Natalie had discovered a new side of me that night. She reflected, between the kids being away and all that alcohol, I guess we all just lost control. I'm partly responsible too. There was something in her tone that suggested more intrigue than regret. Surprisingly, I felt the same way, more exhilarated than guilty. Still, I wondered how I'd face the mom friends after such an intimate encounter. Remarkably, that night became a catalyst for rekindling our marriage. Whether it was jealousy from seeing other women desire me, or the lingering excitement of that evening, Natalie began initiating intimacy more often with suggestive hints like "tonight." I found myself more confident in our romantic moments too. During our private time after Mason's bedtime, Natalie would whisper, "We really needed this," and I'd agree. "We should have prioritized this sooner." Ironically, that wild night with the mom friends had breathed new life into our relationship. Still, I can't help but worry about facing the mom friends. Have they processed what happened? We exchange pleasantries and make casual plans like, "We should grab lunch," but carefully dance around any mention of that night. What's more unsettling is that other parents seem to sense something's different. I catch knowing smiles during PDA meetings that make me squirm. So there it was, an ordinary night in our suburban home, with Mason away at summer camp, turned extraordinary when four mom friends gathered for wine. What began with them catching me post-shower and playfully stealing my towel evolved into something none of us had anticipated. Unable or unwilling to resist, I let myself get swept away in an unforgettable evening. While life continued surprisingly normally afterward, My relationship with Natalie underwent a subtle but meaningful transformation. Our nights became more passionate, as if the jealousy and excitement had reignited our connection. The mom friend's bold advances had somehow awakened an intense desire in Natalie's heart. The future remains uncertain. Our dynamic with the mom friends could grow more complex, turn awkward, or perhaps lead to another extraordinary night. There's no way to know. But that evening forced us to see each other as more than just husband and wife. We rediscovered ourselves as passionate lovers. When Mason eventually leaves for college, who knows what new aspects of ourselves we might uncover. While that night will forever be etched in our memories, its greatest gift was making us desire each other more deeply than ever. Looking back, I can say with certainty that it breathed new life into our marriage.